You know, I don't like puffs. It's like I'm sinking into the chair. Okay, let's go. Katerina. I'm sorry, Kristina. It's a K thing. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Okay, let's do it again. Okay. Kristina. Kristina. Hey everyone, welcome to the second episode of our podcast show, LinguaFY. And today, Kristina, congratulations, you're officially a podcaster.
Thank you so much.
Here is your award.
Thanks.
Okay, today we're going to be talking. What are we going to be talking about today?
Today we're going to talk about adulthood. And the question is, do we ever grow up?
Or that's a very big question. Or are we just kids in bigger clothes, just trying to wing it as we go?
Yeah, that's interesting.
Yeah.
So psychologists say that our brain doesn't fully mature until age 25.
To mature means to become fully grown or developed, either physically, emotionally, or mentally. For example, children mature at different ages.
Yes, but even though our brain doesn't mature until the age of 25, lots of people say that they perceive themselves younger than they actually are.
Interesting. So the big question then is, when do we ever feel like we're grown up? I mean, do we ever truly grow up, or are we just faking it?
Well, actually, here we have to discuss two different approaches of adulthood. Biological adulthood and emotional adulthood.
Okay.
Biological adulthood is something that develops as we grow. So when our muscles grow, our bones fully are formed, and this is our peak condition, when we feel strong, when the endurance is on the highest level.
Endurance, the ability to keep doing something difficult or painful for a long time without giving up. It can be physical, like in sports, or mental, like studying for hours.
And when we experience strength. But when we talk about emotional adulthood, it's something absolutely different. So we have to realize how to manage emotions, how to handle stress, how to build a relationship with each other, and how to manage all those things in this world. So it's absolutely different.
So if I get you correctly, you're saying that biological adulthood happens somewhere between our mid-teens to early 20s, right? And then probably our emotional adulthood usually happens a little bit later. Yeah?
Yes, usually that's right. But sometimes it happens vice versa. In fact, some people might be mature emotionally, but not mature enough biologically. So
Amazing.
It depends.
Oh, okay. So essentially, biological adulthood gives us the body and the energy to go do stuff, right? And then the emotional adulthood sort of like helps us to understand the world, be able to deal with life, to have a more healthy, meaningful, and probably like purposeful life.
Purposeful, showing that you have a clear goal or intention. If something is meaningful, it is important and has a special value or purpose.
Exactly. And this is important to realize that both matter. And this is not what happens overnight. This is a long and complex journey.
Adulting is hard.
Yeah.
But if we look at it culturally, what it means to be an adult has changed over time. I mean, take, for instance, my cultural background. My grandparents and their parents before that, and on, to the beginning of time. Getting married, they actually got married at a much younger age and built a life even before they were 30. But in this particular generation, I mean, a person even at 32 is still figuring out his life, trying to understand his personality, and sometimes even where to live.
Yeah, because things have changed, and there's even a term coined. It's a term that appeared recently, so-called emerging adulthood or delayed adulthood.
Emerging describes something that is new and developing.
Okay.
This is a period from 18 to approximately 29, when you're not a teen, but you're not an adult. So you consider to be like a kind of young adult, but you don't have a family, you don't have a career. Probably you have a career, but you're not like, you haven't decided that this is what you want to do. So you're still like in doubt, probably. So you're still in this process of becoming an adult.
Interesting. And talking about cultures, because I just give you my own background. What's it like in your culture? I mean, when is it culturally acceptable to be considered an adult?
I would say that things have changed here as well, because it's because of the generation. When we talk about baby boomers, they were expected to build a career, to start a family by the age of 25. And then the millennials, they tend to delay these things a little bit. So they focus more on career, and they delay even home ownership, for example. And then when we talk about Generation Z, they focus more on traveling or on building career, and they don't think about these things like marriage, family. They are not thinking about settling down. So it depends on the generation, I think. Okay, let's talk about legal adulthood. As we know, in different countries, the legal adulthood is different, but in most of the countries, there is an international standard set, which is 18 years old. For example, like in the United States or in most European countries, in Australia and many other countries. There is Japan, by the way, where adulthood is considered also at 18, but it used to be 20. Okay, there's Japan, and the age of legal adulthood is also 18, but you can only drink or smoke when you are 20. And in South Korea, the legal age is 19. So it differs from country to country. In some countries, adulthood is marked by rites of passage.
Rites of passage, special events or ceremonies that mark important stages in a person's life, such as becoming an adult, getting married, or graduating.
Do you know anything about it?
Oh, you mean like cultural rites of passage? Sure. I mean, as an African from my cultural background, based on, I call it old history. Typically, men, undergo this rite of passage where there's a test of their masculinity.
Masculinity is what people think it means to be a man, like being strong, independent, or protective.
Their physical endurance to show that they're fully mature men. It's typically it's a set of activities that young boys take that transition them from boys to men. And I do know of Latin America, they have the quinceañera. Usually, it's for young girls that they go through some ritual, to go from girl to womanhood. And probably you also know about the Jewish community. They have bar mitzvah and the bat mitzvah. Again, it's for young teens, say between the age of 12 and 13, if I'm correct. And again, the goal is that when they arrive at this age, they perform this particular ceremony that officially brings them into adulthood. In other words, now they have to make decisions as adults. Pretty interesting.
Yeah, that's interesting. Yeah. But talking about the contemporary society, what are the milestones that mark adulthood? What do you think?
Milestone, an important event or achievement in a person's life.
I'll leave that to you to answer.
Well, personally, for me and for the society where I live, the milestones usually are completing education, getting your first job, starting career, creating a family, probably. For some people, there's a significant step that they take is getting a driving license.
Oh,
this
really?
is also something really special and really important for them.
Oh, really? But it's interesting that you talk about driver's license. We don't typically hold that as modern rite of passage into adulthood. But what you talked about, again, I think financial responsibility. It's a very key indicator that you are now an adult, again, from my cultural standpoint.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. When did you start feeling like an adult?
When I started earning salary, that was for me when I realized, oh, you're an adult now. You can take care of you can pay your bills. That was for me. Yeah.
It means a lot.
Yeah, of course. It's a lot.
Okay, so you pay the bills, you go to work, But do you like watching cartoons?
Of course. I mean, that's my inner child.
Inner child, the part of your personality that still feels and reacts like a child.
Uh, do you have an inner child?
Yeah, sure. I think that each of us has an inner child, and it is important to realize that we have one inside. This is the part which holds memories, experiences, sometimes even wounds from the childhood. This is something it's deep inside of us, and it influences us profoundly. It influences our thoughts, our behavior. So we should treat it as if we were a child.
So maybe being an adult is less about how we age and probably more about how we deal with how we respond to things when they go wrong.
Yeah, definitely. So, again, talking about this inner child, you always have to leave space for yourself to be funny, to like be creative, to leave space for imagination. You have to listen to your inner child because it's something really deep inside, and you always have to think about it as if it's a real child. So, self-compassion, treated with love, with understanding.
Self-compassion means caring for yourself kindly, especially during difficult times.
So, maybe growing up is not a single moment, right? It's not about a job title. It's not about turning 30 or mortgage. It's probably messy. There's that messy, non-linear human experience.
Yeah, definitely. And before we go, we'd like to hear from you. When did you first feel like an adult? Write in the comment under the video, and the most popular comment will receive a present from
Ooh.
Lingua.
Anyway, thanks for hanging out with us. If you liked today's conversation, and you know that you're not alone, in this messy process of adulthood and growing up, share it with a friend. Comment, and like she said, we have something special for you, and we'll catch you on the next one.
See you next time.
Take care. Bye.